Okay, let me tell you something. Just when I get fed up of this YouTube thing, because it is a piece of work, I receive so many kind comments and new subscribers, and I'm like, damn it, now I have to continue. Because if you don't get tired of watching and commenting every single video and short I put out there, how can I get tired of it? So I just wanted to stop for a second and really say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the love and kindness and support, endless support you give me. It really means much more than you probably realize. Having you here, leaving comments and sharing your thoughts and parts of your lives, I truly, truly appreciate it. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Okay, let's move on before this gets awkward, because I've got shoes to talk about. So recently, one of you asked me to make a video about which shoes work best with pleated midi skirts, and as much as I wanted to squeeze in this part of my video in some of my other YouTube videos, I realized that I can't squeeze anything anywhere. I need to make a proper dedicated YouTube video. So here we are, another week, another video. So now that I'm only going to share which shoes work best with pleated midi skirts, I'm also going to share a few types of shoes that I personally would never wear with pleated midi skirts. To my positive surprise, when I was creating outfits for this video, I came to realize that almost every type of shoe works with pleated midi skirts. So a midi skirt is a very wise item to have in our wardrobe, but I still managed to find a few pairs of shoes that I don't like with pleated midi skirts. Also, I may seem like someone who owns a lot of clothes, but actually I only own 2 pleated midi skirts, black and white. Well, champagne color. They have different lengths. They both have these minimalistic pleats to themselves. They're not very bold and structured pleats, rather soft pleats. This is the type of pleats I like. So, thank you so much for being here, and let's get into it. So, my first and probably my favorite type of shoe to wear with a pleated midi skirt is the classic pump. This is honestly my favorite style of shoe, and it's probably the type of shoe I have the most of in my shoe closet. I love pumps because they go with almost everything and they instantly make the outfit look a little more elegant and polished. I styled both skirts with my classic Pigalle black pump just to show how versatile they are. And as you can see, different skirt lengths can work just as well with this type of shoe. So if you want an easy, elegant combination that you really can't go wrong with, a classic pump and a pleated midi skirt are definitely one of my favorite combinations. The next type of shoe I absolutely love with a pleated midi skirt is an open-toe heeled sandal. For this outfit, I chose them in blue because I don't have blues, I wear them. I paired the sandals with a blue floral top, and I love how the colors work together without looking too matchy-matchy. But if you want something a little more classic, nude-heeled sandals work perfectly well with pleated midi skirt. Nude sandals will create a very neutral look, and they're also incredibly easy to style because they work with so many different colors. So whether you go for a little pop of color like I did here or keep it neutral with nude sandals, this is another combination that I think works beautifully with a pleated midi skirt. Another type of shoe I really love with pleated midi skirts is the kitten heel. I have to admit, kitten heels used to remind me of a more mature, elegant generation, so they weren't really a shoe I would choose for myself. But I think designers have done such a great job bringing them back in a much more modern and stylish way. Today we can find kitten heels in so many different shapes, colors and designs, and they can really look very chic and feminine without feeling outdated. And I actually think they work really beautifully with pleated midi skirts. So if you haven't considered kitten heels for a while, I think they're definitely worth another look. The next type of shoe I find really wearable with pleated midi skirts is a wedge. You probably already know that when it comes to wedges, I prefer them to have the wedge only at the back. I'm not a fan of that chunky platform at the front because I find it can make the shoe look a little too heavy. And what I love about this particular pair is the two-tone detail. It's very classic and elegant, but it still adds a little bit of interest to the shoe. And I think the colors work perfectly well with the pleated midi skirt, so this look feels feminine, polished, and really very easy to wear.
We keep on moving, we keep on moving along, we keep on rolling.
Okay, now we are getting into boots. My two favorite, but definitely not the only types of boots to wear with pleated midi skirts are ankle boots and knee-high boots. First, knee-high boots. Everyone already knows these are my absolute favorite boots, and what I especially love about knee-high boots is that little detail where the skirt goes over the boots. I think it looks so chic and elegant. And honestly, this combination takes me back to when I was a little girl looking through fashion magazines and admiring all those beautiful models wearing midi skirts with knee-high boots. That was such a vibe. Ankle boots, on another hand, are a little bit more modern. Now, as much as I prefer a little bit of room around the ankle, I have to say that when styled correctly, fitted ankle boots can look incredibly chic. And paired with a pleated midi skirt, they actually turn out very cute. I'm saying this because this type of boot can sometimes look vulgar if paired with a very fitted dress, for example. So even though these boots demand some styling skills, I believe this is another combination that look very chic with pleated midi skirts. Don't look at the pattern only, take a look at the style of these boots. Kitten heel, pointed toe, very classy, and pattern for courageous ones. One thing I really love about these boots is a room around the ankle. Comparing to fitted ankle boots I just showed you, these ones are more classy, minus the pattern of course. They have that relaxed, straight shape around the ankle that I really like. And the little kitten heel adds just enough elegance without making the boots feel too dressy. So it's definitely a statement choice, but I think it works. Okay, let's get into flats. Loafers, pointed toe flats, chucks. Now, when it comes to loafers, there is really no surprise here. Just like pumps and knee-high boots, loafers are one of my absolute go-to shoes. Pointed toe flats are a really savvy option if we want the elegance of a pointed toe without wearing heels. I think these are such a beautiful option with pleated midi skirts. And chucks, another unexpected shoe choice for me perhaps, but that's only because I have different sides of my personal style that you may not be familiar with. I love that little contrast between the pretty flowy skirt and the casual, slightly edgy sneakers. This was a bit unexpected pairing for me that turned out pretty well. Peachy rose suede sandals in slightly Roman style match surprisingly well with cream pleated midi skirt, not the black one. They're a great option for those days when we want to look put together without sacrificing comfort. Slides might not be the first shoe choice we think of with a pleated midi skirt, but I actually think they can look incredibly elegant. The key is really to choose a slide that feels polished rather than overly casual. The closed toe keeps the shoe looking elegant, while the slide itself makes the whole outfit feel relaxed and effortless. Same as chucks or snake boots, another unexpected choice I personally love with pleated midi skirt are combat boots. Now, I'm not a fan of overly chunky boots, but these ones feel more like a classic style rather than a trendy one. When the weather gets cold, practicality is a necessity and fashion becomes secondary. But I still find this combination very fashion forward in these weather conditions. We get that beautiful contrast between masculine and feminine, which is a combination I really love. So even though combat boots might not be the first thing we think of when styling a pleated midi skirt, I think they can create a really cool and balanced look. My second favorite flat boots with pleated midi skirts are riding boots. These particular ones are actually rain boots as well, made by Jimmy Choo. They have that beautiful equestrian shape, which I absolutely love. Equestrian style really speaks to me. I love that timeless and classy aesthetic. British really know how to design their rain boots, right? So if you want to wear your pleated midi skirts with flat boots, I think riding boots are definitely one of the best options. Now let's look at the shoes that don't work with pleated midi skirts. We're gonna go fast through this because I don't want to be seen way too long wearing wrong shoes. So the first and probably the biggest no-go for me is an ankle boot that hits at the mid-calf. But the boots are not the problem, it is the length of the skirt that doesn't work with the height of these boots. Proportions are really everything when it comes to styling, so the height of the shoe needs to work with the length of the skirt in order for proportions to look right. That's called styling through proportions. And it's something we naturally have an eye for, or we can learn to recognize. Second type of shoe that really doesn't look nice with pleated midi skirt are trainers. It works, but it doesn't look nice. I see many women choosing to wear these exact two items together. And the last shoes that I kinda don't like with the pleated midi skirt are round toe ballerinas. Something is telling me I'm going to change my mind on this one, but for now, let's keep rolling. Because sometimes that round toe makes an outfit look a little dated, whereas a pointed toe makes it feel much more modern, but also mature, so we shall see about this one. But nothing can beat a good old loafer. And that's it! Only 3 pairs of shoes that I could think of right now that don't really work with pleated midis. Everything else, we are good. And that's the video. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful, and feel free to leave your comments down below. I generally love to discuss about fashion with you, and don't worry if our tastes don't match, because I still love to hear your thoughts. I would never get offended if we don't agree on everything. Fashion is really fun. So once again, thank you so much for sending me all the strength and kindness that I need, and I can't wait to see you in my next one. Bye!